Evening, everyone, and welcome to a Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan program called New Year, New Career. So if you are here this evening, it is because you have someone in your life, perhaps an agent in our office, perhaps somebody who's worked with our company as a client, who knows that you have an interest in a career in real estate, or might be someone who is going to be very successful as a realtor. And before you can just jump in and start selling houses, it's important to learn what all goes into this career in real estate. What does it take to get a license? What do the most successful agents do? And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. The goal tonight is to give everyone the opportunity to get a better understanding about the real estate industry, what it looks like to be successful as a real estate agent, and what your next steps would be if you're going to pursue your real estate license. We have some outstanding individuals with us tonight who are all active and rock star agents in our office, and they're going to be answering some of your questions at the end. But I wanted to start by getting them to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about who they are and when they got into the business and what part of town they're in, let's say. So Mike, Jermaine, Chris, camera's on, unmute, say hey.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Who should go first, Mike?
Let's go with you, Mike. Your picture's first.
Awesome. Yeah, so Mike Arco, I've been in the business since 2019. I was a dual career agent for about 6 months before I decided to take a leap of faith and jump into this full time. I'm on the east side of town. What else do we want to know?
That's okay for now. That's okay.
All right, perfect.
Now. We'll leave them wanting more. Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris Case. I've been in the business in March. It'll be 3 years. And I live on the west side of town now, but I go out all over to sell real estate. And what was the last question you had?
I think you got them all.
Okay, that's good.
What part of town you're in? And then
Yeah.
Mr. Jermaine Brooks.
Yep. Good evening, Jermaine Brooks. I got licensed in 2014 as a solo agent, dual career agent. I started a team 2 years ago, the list sale buy team. And I work Cuyahoga County, Summit County, Lake County, half house. I will sell it. I don't really restrict myself to the area.
I love that. And I can't believe it's been 2 years since you started the team. That seems
Right.
Gosh, that seems not so long ago. All right, team. So we're going to circle back to Mike, Chris, and Jermaine in just a few minutes. My goal for this evening, our goal for this evening, is to demystify some of the things around a career in real estate, to provide some insights into the way that agents find success, the way that the money works, and what it actually takes to be successful. So I'm going to walk through the next few slides at a very high level. At the end, we're going to talk about opportunities to dig in more, learn more, or to follow up with some of our panelists. So why real estate? It is likely that if you are, or if you're on this call and you have ever considered a career in real estate, that it's one of these three things that you find most attractive about the opportunity for a career in real estate. I call them the 3 F's: freedom, flexibility, and finances or financial gain. A career in real estate as a realtor is an entrepreneurial endeavor, right? You are your own boss, right? There is no one telling you when to show up or what to wear or how to go about your business. There's an immense amount of freedom, right? As any entrepreneurs on the call tonight know, freedom can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it helps to have somebody tell you where to be and when to be there. But one thing that is very attractive in every stage and phase of a career in real estate is the freedom to do business your way. As long as it's legal, we're going to support you in doing business the way you want to do business. The second item that is very attractive is flexibility. If you've bought or sold a house or ever worked with a realtor before, you likely know that they are available at what could feel like all hours of the day. And it isn't really all hours of the day. And it's not the same hours every day either. So if you are a parent or somebody who is working a full-time job looking to be in real estate as a dual career agent, you can do business on your own schedule. And that flexibility affords people an entree into the industry that they otherwise wouldn't have if they had to stop everything that they were doing and start as a quote unquote 9 to 5. And then finally, we'll do some examples of the way that commissions work, but the financial opportunities inside of a career in real estate are unmatched across the industry. For an individual to invest what is around $1,000 in real estate licensing school to get a career that, within the first or second year is earning 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year, that rise and the ability to earn unlimited amounts of income, right? There is no cap. There's nobody setting your salary. It's simply a function of the amount of business that you do. That is very attractive to a lot of people and to everyone. And if you're like, hey, all three of those sound good, well, you're like me. Elements of freedom, elements of flexibility, and elements of financial gain blend together to create a very unique and one-of-one experience for all of the folks, all the 15,000 realtors in Northeast Ohio. Quick rundown of what a day in the life of a realtor looks like. For anybody who watches any of the television programs, whether it's Selling Sunset or $1 Million Listing, that might not be a complete picture of what a career in real estate is going to look like. And so I hate to burst any bubbles with that. I think you'll hear a little bit more from our panel. But there are five main activities for real estate agents. Because it's an entrepreneurial endeavor, generating leads, like finding the business, is something that we have to do. Going on appointments, right? Getting face-to-face, belly-to-belly with our clients is one of the most valuable activities. Negotiating is a big part of a real estate agent's job and a real estate agent's career. As negotiating contracts is what keeps deals together and eventually gets them done. Writing those contracts is a skill in and of itself, and so agents will spend time doing that. And then certainly, the warm and fuzzies, creating generational wealth through real estate investment, getting someone into their first home, getting someone into their final home or their forever home. Very powerful things. And what we do as realtors is we manage the largest financial asset that 99% of the world's population is ever going to have, and that's the house. And so a good fiduciary as a realtor can be a life-changing element of someone's wealth journey, right? So all things that are a day in the life. As a real estate agent, you will work for a brokerage. There are hundreds of brokerages throughout Northeast Ohio, but there are really only three types of brokerages, right? There is the traditional or dependent model, and this is going to look and feel more like an employee-employer relationship. There's going to be financial risk taken by the broker and then recouped through a more broker-favorable commission split on the back end. The independent model is more like a landlord-tenant relationship, and that's one where you would have a broker because you are required to have a broker in the state of Ohio. This person serves as that broker, sometimes in name only, providing very little support and putting the financial and legal and management responsibilities onto the agent. And then finally, there's the interdependent model, which is the highest level of a relationship for anyone who reads Stephen Covey. We go from dependent to independent to interdependent, and that is where we aim for mutual success, and that risks and rewards are taken together and shared together, and that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for wealth building. So, regardless of which one you find most interesting, there are brokerages throughout Northeast Ohio that represent these models. And there is no right or wrong model, only the model that best serves you and your real estate goals. So how do agents get paid? This is always an interesting question. So real estate agents are 1099 independent contractors. They are commission-only employees. So when a sale closes, that generates a commission for the real estate agents involved in that transaction. We'll break down more of that commission in just a minute. Real estate, as we said, high degrees of freedom and flexibility, which affords people the opportunity to start as a dual career agent. It's a commission-only business. It takes 60 to 90 days to get your first deal under, and then probably another 30 days to get it closed. So there is going to be a lead time to building a real estate business. Starting as a dual career agent, as you heard both Mike and Jermaine mention, is a way that a lot of agents in the industry get their feet set, and then start growing their business. Commissions are based on the value of the home, right? So if you have a $100,000 home, the listing rate, let's say, is 7%, which this can vary. Some agents list at 7%, some list at 8%, some list at 6%. It's all about the value provided as a result of that listing. But in this case, that 7% commission would total $7,000, and then that will split between the agent representing the seller and the agent representing the buyer. In Northeast Ohio, it is an industry standard that there is a slight favorability to the listing agent in the commission splits. And so what you would see on a $100,000 home is, $4,000 to the listing agent and $3,000 to the buyer's agent. And this is prior to any split with the brokerage, which we're not going to dive into that this evening because we're just talking about the career in real estate tonight. There will be opportunities to learn more and lean in more around a specific brokerage as we move forward. But important to understand that, when you're getting into this endeavor, it is, as I like to say, one of the most entrepreneurial endeavors that is out there because it is 100% commission-based. At Keller Williams, we are one of the fastest growing companies in North America, despite also being already the largest company in North America. We have more agents, close more sides, and take more listings than any other brand in the world. Now we are in 59 different countries. In 2021, 24.5% of all transactions involved a Keller Williams agent, right? So the only reason I bring that up is because there is proof of concept here, right? We have helped more agents find more success more quickly than any other brokerage in the history of real estate. And that's very exciting. If you are entering into an industry or considering an industry that is heavily entrepreneurial, that is 100% commission-based, the idea of taking things of chance off the table is really important. So as a company of models and systems, we're excited that we have a very strong track record of helping agents get their business started and grow their business. So you're a part of this call tonight as a part of the Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan Office. So we actually have 2 locations, one on the east side in Pepper Pike and one on the west side in Rocky River. So regardless, east side, west side, south side, you can sell all sides. You can hub out of either office. You can work out of both offices. The only thing we haven't figured out how to sell yet in Cleveland is the north side. But as soon as they let you do real estate transactions on water, we'll be there. And our results, very straightforward. We are the largest real estate office in Northeast Ohio, over $1 billion in closed sales volume, $1 million in profit shared back to our agents. And we do that by focusing on helping each individual agent achieve their goals, whether that be to, build a big real estate team and make $1 million a year selling real estate, or to sell a few houses as a dual career agent to pay for an extra vacation for the kids. One thing that makes our very large organization feel very warm and cozy and cuddly is our communities. So we protect communities where individuals with similar interests, similar lifestyle, similar backgrounds, or similar goals can come together, mastermind, and work together to achieve those goals. And an example of some of those communities are represented on your screen right now. And I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that from some of the agents. Training is a big part of what we do at Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. As you can see, this is our January 23 calendar. Nearly every day of the week, there is an opportunity to sharpen the saw and get better. If you're outside of the real estate industry, like I was at one time, I was amazed at how much training is promoted, but there is a direct correlation between success and performance in the real estate industry and those who invest time, energy, and resources into training. And so we make that very easy for our agents. Another thing that we provide for all of our agents is the opportunity to be coached. This is also another example of a community. So all agents in our company, when they join, they're enrolled in a productivity coaching program that meets weekly. And that operates as something of a community or cohort for agents at similar production or ability levels, so that we're always, learning from one another and teaching one another and supporting one another. Now, being a real estate agent is a professionally licensed endeavor. And so with that comes anybody who has experience as a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, an anesthetician. Any licensed role, you will find that there are dues and fees associated with that. In a career in real estate, that includes the multiple listing service, which is where houses go when they get listed and then shot out to all the other websites throughout the World Wide Web. There's also, to be a member of the multiple listing service, you have to join a board of realtors, a professional board, and then you have to keep an active license. Two other things that are all but required, and E&O insurance and showing time access. Those are provided by our company because we can purchase them at scale and then allow our agents to enjoy them at a discounted rate. One thing to be aware of is that wherever you work, there will be fees associated with that brokerage. Those fees will sometimes come out of your deal. They'll sometimes be charged annually or quarterly or every 6 months. Keller Williams only has one fee, and that fee is $67 a month. And that covers insurance and technology for every agent in our office. And for perspective, what you would pay a year in fees for Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan, if you were to go get errors and emissions insurance on your own, it would cost you more than that, right? Because we run a very successful brokerage with high training and high quality agents, our insurance costs are low and we pass those on to our agents. So there is some insight on the industry. Let's get to a little Q&A with our agents so they can tell you how it really works, right? And folks, anybody who is in a position to, please open up the chat as we start to jam with our agents here this evening. I would love for anybody who is interested to go ahead and drop some questions in the chat so that we can get a little back and forth going here. So we've already met all you guys and gals. Why don't we start? We'll start with Chris this time. Chris, what attracted you to a career in real estate? Like, why real estate? Oh, you're muted.
Well, I would say originally I had friends that convinced me to sign up to take the classes because I was used to having a salary position where I had consistent pay. And so it was a very scary thing for me to think about leaving and then also passing the test. And just because I'm starting a little bit older, so, been out of school for a while. So it's, I was a little concerned about that. So after some convincing, classes started the next day. So I started and, I went the longer route, took a couple months to take it while I worked full time. And eventually, I passed my tests. And at that point I had lost my job. So it was almost like perfect timing because a few months later, then I got the license and I started just before COVID shut down.
Excellent. So you found your way to a career in real estate because your friends and family said you'd be great at this. You ought to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I have no doubt that there are some people on this call tonight that are here for a similar reason. What about you, Jermaine? What led you to a career in real estate?
Funny you asked. This is actually a long story, but I'll make it quick. I was on the private side, so I actually had a few realtors that I work with, and I used to do fix and flips and buy and holds and had rental properties and everything like that. And I remember one night I got a call about 3 a.m. Somebody had flushed some stuff down the toilet, and there was a tenant calling, and she wanted to come get it now and cuss me out. And at that point, I said, "This is not for me. It's not for me." And I sat back and I thought, I said, on a real estate deal, the agent and the inspector always are the ones that get paid. The investor can lose out. He can lose out. Everybody else can lose out. But the agent and the inspector are the ones that usually always get paid. So I said, I need to think a little bit smarter and work a lot less harder. And that's when I went and got my license in 2014.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it was exposure to the industry and then seeing the potential of the agent that led you here.
Yeah, and it was more about setting up a business. Like on the fix and flip side and the buy and hold side, yes, it's a business, but it takes a lot to actually have an up and running business, and your fate depends on other aspects and other variables.
Yep.
Being an agent, you can control a lot of those variables. I can decide to go show 10 houses if I want. I can say I'm just going to show 2 today. And you can determine, yeah, you can determine your own fate and outcome.
Yeah. Mike, what about you?
Well, I was working with my family business and I knew I wanted to do something on my own and build my own thing. And I wanted to get into flipping houses. I thought that was going to be fun. So I went and I got my license so I could start flipping houses and save money on realtor commissions. I came to a productivity coaching class after I got licensed and passed the test. And Eric, our productivity coach, told me, you can make a lot of money selling houses just by being an agent. It doesn't have to just be flipping and saving money on commissions there. So I started getting my name out there, letting my family and friends know that I was in the business, and I sold a couple of houses. I'm like, wow, you can make a lot of money selling houses. Getting those first few commission checks, it was pretty cool. Took a bold class and I said, yep, this is for me. I'm jumping in full time. And that's just what I did. But yeah, I mean, I got into it because I wanted to build my own thing. I wanted to get away from a family business that I was working in that I wasn't happy with. And it just turned into something a lot bigger than I, imagined it being. This was kind of my stepping stone out of the family business, and we'll see what happens after that. But it it started to blossom. So,
could be the new family business, right?
Right. Exactly.
So, all of you licensed within the last decade. If you remember being licensed, can you set anyone's mind at ease about the courses, the test, anything? Sometimes there's some horror stories out there. How was it?
Let me say this. I got a 2.6 GPA in high school. I got a 2.1 GPA in college. I was a terrible test taker. I remember a guy coming to my high school saying, there's a lot of dumb people in college. Like if they can get into college, you can get into college. And that made me feel a lot better. There are a lot of people that I say, how the heck did they get licensed?
Mhm.
If they can do it, you can do it. I promise you that. I'm a terrible test taker, but it takes a lot of work to pass the test. And you got to study and you got to, work hard at it. You can't just breeze by and take it and think you're going to pass. I fortunately passed the first time. Not a lot of people pass the first time. And I'm a bad test taker. Like I took classes to do good on the ACT. I paid for that. And I still only got like a 21, which is not a good score. So you have to work hard at it, but if I can do it, if a lot of these other agents that I've had to do deals with are able to do it, you guys are more than capable of it.
Yeah. But Mike,
And
you're not offering tutoring lessons, are you?
Absolutely not.
Chris, sorry.
Copy cram. Just do that as many times as you can.
Yeah, I always say, sometimes when I'm with clients, or by myself, or other realtors, I sometimes you come across some people that you are, like Mike said, shocked. And it's like, I always say, well, you might be able to pass a test, but it doesn't mean you should be working with people, because sometimes I am very surprised at how some people interact. And I think if you have a strong personality, as far as you just are, a kind person, you're caring, you want to be helpful, like that would shine through. Just get through the test. I passed the state test on the first time, but the national test, it took me a few times, and I think I was psyching myself out of it. But once I really buckled down and looked at the notes, and I passed with great score. And then honestly, a lot of the things I learned on there, I don't really apply to my day-to-day adventures, and I'm doing pretty well. So I think just stay tuned to what you can do, and you'll get through fine.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that some of the best agents in our office have taken the test multiple times. And Jermaine, how many clients you've served? Probably close to 300 or 400 clients at this point in your career, maybe more. How many of them has asked you about how many times it took you to pass the real estate exam?
Yeah, I never got that. Nobody's
Never
ever
got that
asked.
question, huh?
Right now, nobody's ever asked it. And and it's funny because a lot of new agents that I get on my team, they were like, "Well, it took me a couple of times to pass." I was like, "It does not matter." And we laugh because a lot of the newer agents, they're like, "Well, what about in the book? Aren't we supposed to do this?" I was like, "Nah, that's not how that works." but going back to the class, I remember I was it's like everything's pretty much virtual now. I'm hearing at Hondros, because I went to Hondros and I had to be there for the 120 hours. That was the most dreadful thing, is just sitting in the classroom for the 120 hours. But I remember the instructor, he came in and he was like, "All right, open your books up to chapter 2. And I was like, "Chapter 2? We're just gonna skip a whole chapter?" He was like, "You don't need to know that." And then he went through the whole book on everything that would be on the test.
Yep.
So one thing I can say is, if you really pay attention to what's going to be on the test, it becomes repetitive. Mike said, copy cram. Everybody that says, I said, once you finish your classes, it's copy cram 3 times a day, and just keep going, keep testing, because it comes repetitive. And then once you see the test, it'll say, well, Mike's selling a house, his commission is 3%. What's his take home? And then on the test, it'll say, well, Stacy's selling the house for 100K. So you start seeing the same questions over and over and over, just worded a different way. So,
and Jermaine, I even saw some questions that were the exact same.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the key. If you can get past 120 hours and just go through copy cram, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. And, look, folks, we bring that up because if you've talked to somebody in real estate, if you talk to 2 people in real estate, one of them probably told you how tough that test was. And you just want to set minds at ease that, there are 15,000 realtors in Northeast Ohio, which means that there's a lot of people that pass that test. So, on to something a little bit more fun. I talked a lot about, how the industry works and what draws people in and freedom, flexibility, financial gain. What's the best part about a career in real estate for you all? And Jermaine, why don't you go ahead and kick us off since you wrapped up the last one?
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple to me. A business worth owning, legacy, things like that. But the ultimate is the amount of money that you can make to set your family up for the future. And that's saying it nice, because another little joke we have on my team is my wife always asks for this, and I got kids and they're all spoiled. And the wife says, I need this. And I talk to everybody, I say, all right, I got to go to work. I got to sell one big house, So you really start counting different. Like the daughter asked me for the Christmas gifts. I'm like, all right, that's 2 small houses, So I count like that now. And I think that's sort of funny. But it's the ability. I don't know any other profession where you can pay under $4,000 to get a license and make unlimited amount of money. You can work and set your own pace and your own future up. And that's really the benefit. I didn't know this was even a career path when I came out of high school, or else I would have got in a lot earlier, to be honest. I definitely would. I mean, it was great playing football in college, but I didn't learn much in school. And as soon as I got into real estate, everything just started clicking. And all the trainings, and it's constantly perfecting. It's like a mastery. You take some more trainings, you learn something new, you pick something else up, and then you put it to work. So that's my take on it. But I mean, setting yourself up for the future and your family and legacy through real estate is a wonderful thing. And it's a real legitimate, going from a sales agent to a business owner. That transition is like, I didn't even understand the magnitude of it when I did it 2 years ago, but it totally is life-changing.
That's awesome. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, the same for me. Like I said, at first it was definitely a start for me, like not having like a paycheck every 2 weeks. But after implementing, the consistency with reaching out to people and talking to everybody I meet, and that it's amazing when all of that starts clicking. And like, I know for the past 2 falls, I mean, it's been amazing where I'm getting like very large checks every couple of days. And you're just like, holy, like if I could do this all the time, in which, it's obviously now, I think it's going on like 10 months or 11 months that I've been paid consistently each month, because at first it is a little scarce. But once it kicks in and you just stay, true to what you're doing and know it, people are seeing, people are taking notice. It does happen, and it is unbelievable. And like you said earlier, it's just when there is no limit. And that, like, some days I sit there and think, oh my God, there's no one telling me, okay, that's enough for this year. You might get a 3% increase next year. It's really you can work as hard as you want to, or as less as you want to, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, based off of what both you and Jermaine said, one of the biggest challenges in life is, what life throws at you. And to know that, like, hey, I have this issue, I have this challenge, I have this financial burden. And the harder you work, the quicker you can be out of it, because it's a one-to-one, right? From the effort in real estate versus, and I remember my life as a salaried employee, it's like, all right, cost of living, if we're doing okay. Right? Mike, what about you? What's your favorite part about a career in real estate? What do you love about it?
Freedom, the flexibility, and the finances. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say other than that. I think helping people that you care about accomplish their goals, and to give them success in purchasing the largest investment of their life, and seeing the relief, that you can give to them, even under very stressful transactions. It's very rewarding, besides the financial aspect of it. I always tell my wife, the best part of my job is calling a buyer and telling them that their offer has been accepted to a house that they've been just they're head over heels in love with. And hearing their reaction is the most rewarding feeling. There's no commission check can beat that. So it's a rewarding career. It's a very challenging career, but it's a good challenge that, you know, if you're up to it, then the rewards are gonna, you know, outweigh it twofold. So
Yeah, I like the way you put that. I mean, it's certainly, you know, helping people get into a home, or, you know, to sell their home, and, you know, if they have to move for, you know, personal or financial or work related reasons, you know, it's work worth doing, right? You know, sometimes you have a job you show up to and it doesn't, you know, feels like if you push that broom a little bit faster or slower, it won't make a difference, but we can make a big difference here. All right, a couple more questions here around the dual career piece, right? You know, that's something that I find in working with a lot of agents and folks who are interested in being licensed. Like, you know, it is more common now than ever, right? There was a time in real estate where you would never do real estate and something else, or something else and real estate, whether it be technology or the speed of the market. There's a lot of things that allow us to do that. What advice would you give somebody that is like, yes, I want to do real estate and I'm going to start as a dual career agent? Like, you know, what were the things that you learned, the things that you experienced? When did you make the leap? How did you know? So, Mike, Jermaine, Chris, before we start, Chris, you didn't start as dual career, did you? Okay. So this,
No, since I lost my job, I just went full in.
yep. Just for Mike and Jermaine.
I can start.
Yeah, so okay, go ahead.
You want to go, Mike? All right. Yeah. So, with me, the biggest thing was I was lucky. I worked for the city of Cleveland, and I had staff, but my staff had left, so it was just me. And I had my own schedule. I had a lot of flexibility, so I was able to start my real estate business while I was working. And the biggest thing was I used to say, all right, I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna get a city this many hours, and at 3:30, I'm doing real estate. So that was set. And then for like the first 3 years, from 3:30 until I was just hammering it out, all real estate. That was my time. Then wake up and go to work. The stability of the paycheck was great, but it was also a hindrance. I probably should have started a team in like year 4 of my career, because, and I told myself, I set goals. I said, if I double my productivity every year, by year 3, I'm quitting and going full time. And I was just scared to take the handcuffs off. And I actually got pushed in the corner in order to start the team. But that was the best thing for me, because now, instead of working those 3:30 until, I was able to get up in the morning, concentrate on real estate all day, and then productivity just really, really skyrocketed. And I was doing well as a dual agent. I mean, my 3rd year, I did 100 and some deals by myself, without a transaction coordinator, without an admin. I stayed up, and I thought it was cool to stay up and grind at 3 in the morning and send emails to everybody like, you sleep and I'm up. You know, I thought it was cool, but that was not working smart at all. And get the real estate burnout. And after that, that's when I just changed the whole mentality of it and said, I need to believe in myself. And that's the entrepreneurial struggle. I need to believe in myself. I need to take the training wheels off and go for it. And I just trusted in myself, believed in it. And I had a track record of showing that I can do it. I can do it. Like, I doubled every year. I doubled. And then finally, I just took the leap of faith. But it was the flexibility of my job, and it was the fact that I kept myself on a strict schedule. And a lot of the agents, like everybody on my team now, we have 15 people on the team, and there are only 3 full-time agents. Everybody else is a dual career. And that's the biggest thing that I tell them. I said, I don't mind a dual career agent coming on the team, but I need to know your hours of operation. When are you doing real estate? It can't be, I get off work, then I got to do this, then I got to do this, because now it's 9 o'clock and you can't do any cold calls or lead generation at 9. It gets pretty hard. So we need to have set hours during your lunch. Maybe you're forgiving your lunch and you're going to work a little bit harder. So I'm making my calls during 12 and 1, 12 and 2. So that's one of the biggest things that I try with all my newer agents. It's just to get on a schedule, because once you get on a schedule and you get a plan, it works. It works. The agents that fail are the agents that did not plan.
Mhm.
And I see it verbatim on my team. Like I stated, Mike, I tell you, I started the team with all new agents. Everybody was fresh out of Hondros except for one person. And to see their productivity is really like, it like aches my heart. I mean, I'm crying when I see Deidre hit 5 million, Judy hit 2 million, you know, Sean, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And they never sold a house, just got out fresh out of Hondros and seeing their productivity. So that's what I would say. It's just putting yourself on a structured schedule, understanding that it's going to be a grind. And then once you have a track record, an improving track record, you gotta take the training wheels off and believe in yourself.
I love that. Mike, what would you add there?
What is there to add? Man, that was, I mean, I think Jermaine just nailed it as far as like having a set schedule. Now, when I was dual career, I worked 6 days a week, 9 to 6, except for Saturdays, I would work 9 to 5. So when was I doing lead generation? When was I doing showings? When was I going on listings, and how was I selling myself? It was really challenging. I primarily ran buyers when I was dual career. You know, my best advice is when you're dual career, the best thing you could do is network with people that know you, like you, and trust you, and network with them and get as much business out of them as you can. If your goal is to go from dual career to full time, like mine was, just make sure you've got enough money saved up to where you can go, you know, without being paid for a couple of months, and trust yourself, believe in yourself and trust yourself. Best advice I ever got was you need to jump, and once you jump, you're going to fly. So trust yourself and believe in yourself, and you're going to do this. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's, you know, you know, every challenge, it's a challenge for every entrepreneur, but if you can make it a short period of time with less, you can have more for a very long period of time, right? A few months without a commission because you're getting your business stood up, and then within a couple of years you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. All right, let's end on a fun note, or well, it's fun to me. What would you, we'll start with you, Chris, what would you say is the biggest factor, the thing that contributed the most to your success as an agent? What is it that you do, or what is it that happened that you were like, got it, I love this and I'm going to be great at it?
I guess just because I feel like I mean, I know I definitely give a high level of service, and it's a lot of that, it comes from past positions I've been in, working with all types of people and VIPs and that type of thing. And so I'm very consistent, and it just amazed me after I began getting my clients and things. Most of my business right now is all on referrals, past clients or people that see my social media. And but that's one thing I've done from day one is, you know, I had the idea of having a mascot that looks like a house, and, you know, I've kind of ran with that whole theme. And, you know, I just can finally be myself and be creative, but yet but it's always about the people. It's not about me. It's more about, you know, what I'm doing to either help people or just to make things a little bit lighter and more fun. And that really has helped me grow in the short time that I've been doing this, which, you know, and I enjoy it like every day. And sometimes, like I've told you in the past, like if I make myself laugh, then it's like, you know, I'm not really there to just try to be entertaining completely for everybody else. But it just shows I'm having fun, and I really love what I do. And even when I've had other people approach me to go to another agency, like I love our office, and I would never leave.
Yeah, that's awesome. We would never let you go. All right, Mike, what about you? What's led to your success as an agent?
Buying in to what I was taught. But seriously, I mean, trusting myself, first of all, trusting myself that I can have success with this. And I mean, it might sound repetitive to some as far as like what the training is that we have here, but really it's just, I bought into what Eric, the productivity coach, I had then hired to be my one-on-one coach after my first year. Like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's a proven example of what a successful real estate agent, a solo agent, which is what I wanted to be. He's a proven example of what a successful real estate agent is. So if I listen to what he tells me, and if I buy into what he's teaching, that's a big part of it. You can go to any class and not buy into the instructor or the teacher or the coach. My football team in high school, none of us bought into our coach. We won maybe 2 games that entire year. We were terrible. So if you don't buy into what you're being taught, then it'll be challenging. So, I took this career change and these courses that I took, or the training that I was taking, more serious than I've taken anything in my entire life. And the results have just been outstanding. I mean, my life is completely different now than what it was almost 4 years ago. So yeah, just buying in. That's it.
That's awesome. Jermaine, did you just close a deal while we were on this call? I saw you pick up the phone.
Yeah, I got a listing that's expiring actually today. So I'm trying to get an extension. And I told him, I was like, if you give me,
I'll be calling them tomorrow.
I said, if you give me two more months, I guarantee we get it done. And right when I hung up the phone today, we had 3 showing requests. So I'm like, wow, won't it work?
Yeah.
But, all right. So what was the question again, Mike?
What do you think has contributed to your success as an agent, now team leader and business owner?
All right, I'm gonna tell you like this. My success came when and I hate to say, like, drunk the Kool-Aid or started coming into the office. I was a dual career agent, so I didn't come to any of the trainings when I first started in 14. I never came into the office for like 3 years, never. No trainings, no nothing. It was just whatever I knew, I was sticking with it and it was going to work. And then I came in the office, realized the culture here, realized all the people that the place I wanted to be had already reached that peak and were willing to help. And that's when I really realized that everything I'm doing some things right, but I'm doing a lot of things wrong. And the willingness for everyone to help in the office. And I started going to the training, started talking to some other team owners, I started talking to other agents, what works for you? And it was just a culture in this office. I always say iron sharpens iron, and we got some of the best teams in the nation here. So for you to be able to pick up the phone and call and say, I need help with this. What would you do in this situation? That is what really made my business take off. Other than that, I was on hustle and grind mode. And if you heard me say my business, when I got out of hustle and grind mode, I was able to set up a business and really start concentrating on the business of real estate. Once you become a sales agent, yeah, you can sell real estate, but once you sell one house, that's good and fine and dandy, but the real money is in the business. And I was able to get that from coming into the office and talking to other agents. And that's the path that I'm going on now. And once again, I should have did that in 2014 and I would have cut the learning curve down. But, I got to hit my head 5 or 6 times before I realized it. But
better late than never.
That led to my success and the trajectory that we're going on now. It's just coming in, taking the classes and enjoying the culture and sharing and learning from everyone else. And a lot of people that have already done it. And that's the key. Like I get a lot of new agents and I interview a lot of people coming straight out of Hondros, and I tell them, I said, if I was a new agent all over again, I would join a team or go right into coaching from the beginning. There's no reason to try to figure this out on your own. You can cut the learning curve down. There's plenty of people that have already done it and they will show you. and go through the coaching for a year. Like Mike said, once he got into coaching, he realized that this is something that can be achievable. A lot of agents, once they get on a team and they get the structure and they see this is how it goes, they fly. And I've noticed a lot of agents that say, I want to be a solo agent, and they try to figure it out on their own and keep hitting their head and stumble and stumble and stumble. Yeah, they eventually get there, but why do it?
Mhm.
And I'm a walking testament. I stumbled plenty of times thinking I was doing things the right way until I got in the office, started going to trainings, started talking to other people, and I'm like, wow, I could have saved 4 years of heartache and stress off me. And that's why I'm bald now.
Oh man, that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate you highlighting something that I think is, some hard to put into words sometimes, which is, culture and the impact that it can have and helping people achieve their goals, which is something we're wholly and fully committed to as an organization. All right. So folks, anybody who has a question for Jermaine, Mike, or Chris, feel free to drop it in the chat. And guys, you just hang on the line for a second. I'm going to quickly pop back to our slides and talk about, hey, what are next steps? Like what, you're sold, you want to be the next Chris Case, Mike Arco, or Jermaine Brooks. How do you do it? Your first step is to register for your classes. They cost about $1,200. It's 120 hours of coursework. You can do it all online. You can do it in person. You can do a mixed bag. But you can complete those, at your pace. Some people do it in 3 weeks. Some people do it in 3 months. But it's really straightforward. There are 120 hours of coursework. Once you've done that, you apply to the Ohio Division of Real Estate to take your exam. Schedule the exam, pass the test, and boom, you are a realtor. Some things to keep in mind. If you're interested in doing that, tomorrow morning, when you signed up, you gave us your email. We're going to drop a discount code in your inbox so that if you want to pull the trigger on real estate classes and start running towards freedom, flexibility, and financial gain, you can do that. In addition, I'm going to drop it in the chat in just a minute, but we have 2 additional career nights coming up. So I talked a little bit about Keller Williams. You heard Mike, Chris, and Jermaine talk a little bit about Keller Williams and what our culture is, what we do as a company. If you'd like to learn more about that as you get into your real estate coursework, we host career nights twice a month, once a month on the east side in our Pepper Pike office, and then once a month on the west side in our Rocky River office. And so I will drop the links and the dates for those. Those are both in person and via Zoom, so it's a dual format. But if there are any other questions, let's get them in the chat. It looks like we had some questions about which was the better CompuCram or prep agent. I can tell you, helping a lot of folks through this stuff when it comes to test prep, it is all about, finding the one that builds your confidence. Some people will swear by one or the other. But we host a study session every week in our office via Zoom, so that if you need to hear it from somebody else, you want to do some practice work, you want some guided practice, we provide that. And then are there fees required upfront to start? The board and MLS and license fees are all due within 30 days of passing your licensing exam. So if you're looking at this saying, okay, I need to afford a career, the classes and the dues and fees, start squirreling away some cash right now. That way you can lean into it and not give yourself a shortened shot clock in terms of having success in real estate. But any questions, drop them in the chat. Feel free to unmute as well and unmute and turn your camera on if you want to ask a question to anyone directly. Must have been really good. They're all awestruck from what was shared. Last call. All right, hearing none. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. A big thank you to Mike, Chris, and Jermaine. in this time, they probably could have been out there selling a house, but they wanted to give it to you all and talk a little bit about that path. I'll be following up with everybody in the morning with details about the career nights and enrolling in classes. If you have any questions, something that you were afraid to say in front of the group, or anything that we didn't cover that you were hoping we would, feel free to just shoot me an email back and we'll go from there.
I have one thing. I'm done with classes. I'm ready to take my test.
Yep.
So they're asking for a sponsoring brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, like, what is the next steps in order for me to go ahead and get scheduled? I know it's an application I have to fill out, but how do I go about that and who do I talk to?
You would talk to me and I can help you with all of that. So I will follow up with you directly tomorrow morning, and we'll set up a time to connect and talk about what sponsorship looks like.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right, team. If there's nothing else, have a wonderful evening. Thank you again